Hey guys, it's Joe. Okay, so I was muted that whole time. I want to apologize. Okay, we got 4 games on the card. This is Puckett with Joe. I want to thank you guys for joining me. We're gonna have a bounce back from yesterday. Those props did not hit at all yesterday. Carter Hart didn't even come out on the ice, which was odd because the books had confirmed him. So late changes there. If you took the best bets, we did go 2 and 3 in those best bets. We got the Seattle Kraken on the money line. Thankfully, they came out just firing. We got the Ottawa Senators team total over 3.5. They came out, they actually lost the game, but they did get 4 goals. And then Calgary and the New Jersey Devils. I was shocked that they did not get over that 7. That was just one of those games. New Jersey played so strong defensively, so not able to get that done. I think, what did we go on overall? We went 4, 6, and 1 overall on all of those best bets in the game. So not the day I wanted. We're going to have a better one here today. Again, we got 4 games on the board. My thoughts and prayers go out to Evander Kane. I don't know if you guys saw that terrible injury last night. He did go in for surgery. So that's something I haven't seen the latest updates today. Remember, with the Edmonton Oilers, Evander Kane out for quite a while, I'm assuming here. So, and I know, Thomas, I'm seeing you guys all in here. The Wild and the Kings only had that 1 goal. It is crazy. We see some of these teams, the Wild and the Kings, play in these games like this, so strong offensively. Their defenses show up every once in a while. In the long run, these teams do trend to that higher. Okay, you guys, big shout out to Ben, big shout out to Thomas, and big shout out to Gil here. I want to thank you guys for being here on YouTube. I'm seeing people even telling me on TikTok that I'm muted on YouTube, so appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here, each and every one of you. Good afternoon. We're going to make some money on the ice today. Let's do this. We've got 4 games on the board today. The first one kicks off here. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. My computer's making all funny noises. I apologize if you guys hear that. Not actually sure what is happening right now, but I'm getting notifications from different apps. The Carolina Hurricanes are taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, right away, we got to remember Matthew Tkachuk is out for the Florida Panthers. This is a huge thing. He is serving that suspension. I believe it was a high stick to Jonathan Quick, the goalie of the LA Kings. So when we look at the Florida Panthers coming in here, small underdog, minus 108 here at home. The Carolina Hurricanes, minus 111 I'm getting. Now the Canes are 8-3-1 on the season, 5-7 on that puck line, 3-4 on the puck line on the road, but 5-1-1 on the road this season. Frederik Andersen expected for them. He has been phenomenally strong. He's gone 5-2 this season with a 2.72 goals against average. This team is getting the shots on goal. They're averaging 37 shots on goal per game and 3.08 goals per game. Now, Spencer Knight is confirmed for the Florida Panthers. He's coming in here with a solid record as well. He's 4-1 on the season with a 2.63 goals against average. Now, this team is dominating in those shots, averaging 40.4 shots on goal and 3.23 goals per game. They are allowing. So when we look at who is stronger offensively, the Panthers are getting more shots. Matthew Tkachuk is out. When we look at defensively, Carolina definitely has the edge. They're only allowing 25.7 shots on goal, which is second best overall in the league, and 2.83 goals per game. Now, the Florida Panthers have been strong as well, limiting shots to 29.9 and allowing that 3.23. I think it's hard for me here to get behind the Panthers without Matthew Tkachuk. I know we saw, like with the Blackhawks, we look at Seth Jones when he went out. The defense really step up. He was one of their top defensive guys, and that team just keep rolling without. I think the Florida Panthers rolling out without Matthew Tkachuk here against the Carolina Hurricanes is a hard one to ask for. I'm going to lean on the Carolina Hurricanes here to get the win. I think they come out nicely. And I will look at these props that you guys are throwing out here in a couple of seconds. We see the Panthers coming in off that nice 5-3 win over the Anaheim Ducks, but only winning by 2 goals versus the Anaheim Ducks. I don't know if that's something, you put an exclamation mark beside. The Carolina Hurricanes did have a really tough game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, going 3-1 in their last one. But I think they have the defensive edge here. I think both goaltenders are phenomenal. But still, I do think in this one, and I'm liking all of these games to the over today. I think we got 4 higher scoring games. If they all come in under, then I'm going to shoot myself in the foot on this one. But we look at the Panthers. They're coming in here. They are returning home from a 4-game road trip. I think defense will be tired in this one without Matthew Tkachuk. I think the Canes come in rolling. I could see this being another 4-3 style game. Now, this total is up to 7, which I hate that it's up to 7, but I do still think we can lean on the over. The over is 6-1-1 in the last 8 meetings in Florida between these two, and 3-1-1 in the last 5 meetings overall. The Florida Panthers have failed to cover the puck line in 9 of their last 10 night games. No value here taking them on that puck line plus 1.5 as the slight dog here. But there's a couple other things I'm looking at. I think we can look at Spencer Knight. Now, his save shots on goal. Do not mind my dog. Maybe this is how dogs are barking today. There's a couple dogs I'm liking. Now, Spencer Knight is the goalie for the Florida Panthers. He's coming in here, his save shots on goal at 28.5. Now, while I do think Carolina comes out and wins this, I think Spencer Knight goes over these save shots on goal, because we look at Carolina, they are averaging 37 shots on goal per game, which is 3rd overall in the league. And defensively, the Florida Panthers are allowing that 29.9. I think we're going to see one of those games where the Florida Panthers allow more shots on Spencer Knight in this one, and they go over that total. So I'm going to take that one over for Spencer Knight, over 28.5. You guys, I'm going to get to these. Brett Burns, over 2.5 shots on goal is super juice. Has hit in 5 games. Okay, let me bring up my book here, and I'll have a look at that. Let me know what super juiced means on that one. He has definitely been rolling. There's a couple other places you could put those shots on goal for those players as well. I'm just bringing it up right now. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing him over 2.5 is -110. If your book can do over 3.5, I'm sure you'd be getting some nice money there. I would count on him for getting those 3, Jay, in this one. Thomas, I don't hate it. We're going to get to the rest of those games. Thomas is rolling with the Canadiens, Canes, and Capitals, the 3-teamer on the puck line at plus 102. Thomas, I want to wish you the best in that. I think you've got it with Montreal. Let's move on to the next game. You guys, we got the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Washington Capitals. Now, this one kicks off at 7:30 Eastern tonight. Pittsburgh, the Penguins coming in here as a slight favorite, around -125 to 128. Remember, you guys, go shop those lines over on Betstamp. Use referral code Madden. Make sure you always get the best value when you are placing these bets. Now, the Capitals coming in here plus 106. I love the Capitals in this situation, but I am worried. I think the Capitals have so many issues, injuries right now, that it's hard for me to take this Washington Capitals team. We've seen them let us down in the last couple of games here. They are off a win. They did do nicely in their last one. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, it's like they're begging us to take them. They're coming in here at -128, lost their last 7 games. Who wants to touch the Pittsburgh Penguins at -128 off 7 losses? I really don't. Casey DeSmith is confirmed for them. He's 0-3-1, which makes it even worse. So 3.25 goals against average. And Darcy Kemper coming expected here at least. He's 4-5-1 with a 2.42. The Washington Capitals are home, but the books are telling us they're the dog in this. It's like they're telling us that Pittsburgh is going to win this game. It just doesn't make sense. They've covered the puck line as a home underdog in their last 7, but there is absolutely no value here on the Washington Capitals on that puck line. You'd be paying way too much juice. Now, when we look at these teams, Washington's hasn't been able to get these goals. They're only averaging 2.86 and 28.7 shots on goal. Pittsburgh coming in here, averaging 3.5 and 35.9 shots on goal, which is 5th overall. Defensively, Pittsburgh is allowing too many goals at 3.67 and 34.8 shots on goal, while the Capitals are doing strong defensively, only allowing 2.93 and 31.4 shots on goal. So this is a hard one. You guys, we look at Oshie, sorry, he did make morning skate. He is on injury reserve. They're right winger for the Washington Capitals. But he's still staying on injury reserve. I had hoped when there were reports of him coming out for that morning skate that he would get off it, but it doesn't look like that. Now, between these two, the underdog is a really strong trend, going 4-1 in the last 5 meetings. The road team also 5-1 in the last 6. Now, we see the Penguins coming in super disciplined, not getting those penalties, not spending a lot of time in the box. They spend an average of 7.5 minutes per game in the box, but the Washington Capitals aren't spending a lot more at 8 minutes. Penguins are healthier. I got to roll with the Penguins here. I think they're going to come out and get a win. I don't know. Something, you guys. I really want the Washington Capitals to win, but I don't think they will. I think they're just begging us to take the Washington Capitals with plus money in this one. I don't trust it. Just kind of like when we took the Pittsburgh Penguins the other week, 2 weeks ago, and they were giving us plus money for over their 3.5 shots on or goals per game. And it didn't sit right. This one's just not sitting right with me. I don't love this game. But I do think that we can lean on the over. If the Pittsburgh Penguins can get this win, I think it's a higher scoring game. So I'm going to lean on the over 6.5 for this one. We see the over hitting in 4 of the last 5 meetings in Washington and 13 of the last 16 meetings overall. Yeah, you guys are on the Caps tonight. If the Caps were coming in here at -120 and the roles were reversed here, I would 100% be on the Capitals. Something's just not sitting right with the Penguins coming in here as the dog at -128 off 7 losses. It's like the books are asking us to please take the Washington Capitals and lose our shirt tonight. I tell you, I don't trust the books. Walter, thank you for joining me here. My dog, if you guys can hear that noise, he is like being really obnoxious right now and pushing on me. So I'm not sure what is going on. I apologize. Got 2 more games on the board. If he all of a sudden jumps at me, he's going to knock me over. So if I fall, he's not light. Okay, the next game on the board. Go. We have the Vancouver Canucks taking on the Montreal Canadiens, 7:30 Eastern for this one as well, you guys. Vancouver coming in here as the favorite at -154, plus 128 for the Montreal Canadiens, and we got a total 6.5. Like I said, I'm liking all the overs here. I think we're going to see a lot of goals on Wednesday night action, especially in this one. We have the Vancouver Canucks. They're coming in. Demko is expected for them. Now, he is 1-6-2 on the season. He's got a 3.9 goals against average. This team defensively is shooting themselves in the foot as well as goaltending wise. They're allowing 4 goals per game and 33.2 shots on goal. They're averaging, though, they're offensively explosive in certain situations. They're averaging 3.62 goals per game and 30.3 shots on goal. Sam Montague is confirmed for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, he's a good goalie. He's 2-1-1 on the season with a 2.47 goals against average. This team is averaging 2.77 goals per game and 29.5 shots on goal. So they are being limited on their shots on goal. They're allowing 3.23 and 34.2 shots. So I think both these teams coming in here off a win, both teams playing a back-to-back. We're going to see tired legs, especially defensively. I think this one easily goes over the total of 6.5. Now, this is the second road game for the Vancouver Canucks, and they've got the Toronto Maple Leafs on deck, the Bruins, and the Sabres. They got that impressive win over the Senators last night. I believe it was 6-4 finish for the Vancouver Canucks. So we know how explosive they can be. Montreal is off the shootout win over the Red Wings, they were huge underdogs in that one. Both these teams so inconsistent. You never know what you're going to get any given night. But I do think in this one, the best way to take this is to take the over 6.5. Now, with Montreal being at home, with them both on tired legs, and with how the Canucks have played in Montreal, I have to grab that plus money with the Montreal Canadiens. The Canucks are 4-12 in the last 16 meetings in Montreal. They have a really strong power play, but they have a weak penalty kill. So if they're undisciplined tonight and they get in that box, I think Montreal can score on them, especially with how their defense is doing. So there's a couple things I'm going to bet in this one. I'm going to sprinkle on the Montreal Canadiens on the money line because you guys know I have to. I love a home dog. I think the best bet is the over 6.5. Now I'm going to look at Demko, the goalie for the Vancouver Canucks, and I'm going to take his under save shots on goal. His save shots on goal tonight is coming in at 28.5. The under is minus 122. And I know it's a little juiced, but we look at the Montreal Canadiens. They're not firing away those shots on goal. They're only averaging 29.5 shots on goal. Now, while the defense of the Vancouver Canucks isn't there, I think we see a slower game out of both of these teams. And I think Demko goes under this number, not because he's going to let a million in, which we know he's going to let quite a few in, but because I don't see Montreal getting those fast-paced shots on him. I think they'll go more quality over quantity tonight. So give me the under 28.5 for Demko. Now, one player you can look at to score an anytime goal is Nick Suzuki, if I can say it, of the Montreal Canadiens. He scored at least one goal in 4 of the Canadiens' last 5 games. So I think he is a solid person to put some money on. Let me just see what his odds are here. How are you guys doing on this beautiful Wednesday, by the way? It was minus 35 when I woke up. So it's definitely hockey weather up here in Canada. I cannot believe I'm minus 35 in December, you guys. It's just not impressive to me at all. Okay, so Nick Suzuki is plus 205 on my book for that anytime goal. If you just want to look at his shots on goal, you could look at his shots too, but I like the sprinkle on the anytime goal. His shots on goal is over 2.5 at plus 130. Again, I think it's quality over quantity tonight on these shots for the Montreal Canadiens. Okay, we've got a question here, Brendan. Okay, let's just see what he's at. He is at over 2.5 is plus 108 for his shots on goal. And for that anytime goal, let me just see here. I just got to find him on the list. It would help if the books really put them in alphabetical order. They don't. For that anytime goal tonight, it is a plus 320. If you like him, it's definitely worth a sprinkle there at plus 320. I love it. Strangely, you like all the games to go over tonight as well, Daryl. I like that. I think all of these games are going to go over tonight. Let me know what you got for value parlaying all of the games over the total. And if you adjusted that at all, I know a lot of people, when they're putting a 4-leg parlay in there, instead of taking those 6.5s, will go down to 6 in case they get a push in any of them. So let me know what you did with that and what value you got. We will go back to Florida, Jay. I'll go back to Florida in a moment. Let's talk about this last game here before we do, and then remind me to get back to that Florida prop for you. The last game on the board, 10 p.m. Eastern tonight, we have the Minnesota Wild taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Now, the Wild coming in here at minus 164 on the money line. We got plus 136 for the Anaheim Ducks, total of 6.5. Again, you guys know I'm hitting this over. I agree with Daryl there. I think all of the games fly over tonight. Now, Gustafson is expected in goal for the Minnesota Wild. He's 0-3 on the season with a 3.92 goals against average. John Gibson, we know he's been struggling for the Anaheim Ducks. He is 2-7-1 with a 4.52 goals against average. So right there, with what the Ducks are allowing defensively, and we've seen them get a couple of these wins here. They're allowing 4.62 goals per game defensively and 40.5 shots on goal. So this team is really allowing. They're not helping their goaltending at all. They lost their last game. The Wild coming in here, losing the last 2. Wild losing last night to the Kings. While I did lean on the Kings, I would have thought they would have made more of an impact in that game. The Wild have also won their last 10 as a favorite over the Anaheim Ducks. I think this is a really nice one for the Minnesota Wild here to get the win. At minus 164 on the money line, it's a little high. I would take them in regulation in that 60 minutes. I do think they get the job done. They're just a stronger team. there has been home ice advantage, but I don't see it coming in here with the Anaheim Ducks. I could be wrong, you guys, but what I do like more is if we look at the Wild's team total, I do believe I'm leaning on the over for the full game. I do believe they get 4 goals in this game. To take their team total over 3.5 is plus 104, especially with them being limited and being shut out last night. I really do think they come in strong. Not a lot of teams play strong on back-to-backs. The Minnesota Wild are one of those teams that come out just rolling. It's like they thrive off that constant energy playing these back-to-back games. So I think the Wild over is definitely a great way to go. Now, for the Anaheim Ducks, Ryan Strome here has scored a goal in each of his last, or 3 of his last 4, if I can talk, games for the Anaheim Ducks. So I could see him coming in and getting a goal tonight. So that is one prop I like in this one. I think this is going to be a fun, high-scoring game, just like all of them. We're going to get to the recap, you guys, and yeah, I'll answer any questions within these games in the recap. And we will do the best bet for the parlay as well. So grab your pens or rewatch it after. I will try not to get too sidetracked, you guys. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers. I got to ride with the Canes on the money line at minus 111. I got to take Spencer Knight over 28.5 save shots on goal for the Florida Panthers. I know I'm riding the Canes and his over, but I think the Canes berate him with shots tonight, and he does enough to get over 28.5 save shots. And again, I like the over 7 in this one. If you can get a 6.5, okay, like around minus 120, I don't mind the juice on that because I hate getting that push. But I do think this goes over the total tonight. Now so the best bet for the parlay, we'll do the Carolina Hurricanes on the money line at minus 111. I just think without Matthew Tkachuk, this is going to be a harder game for the Florida Panthers, even here at home. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Florida Panthers, hang on. There was Forsberg over 2.5 shots on goal. He has been going over this. Absolutely. Let me just see how much juice there is on this. If they've really adjusted without, with him getting these shots on goal all the time. I tell you, the shots on goal prop have been money makers. I'm just trying to find him on my book here. Forsling, sorry, not Forsberg. I was like, Forsberg, wrong one. I'm not seeing him come up here. I'll have to look for him. It's not showing on my book. So if you're getting at that at minus 115 to minus 120, I would hit that over 2.5 or under in that value. The next game on the board, the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Washington Capitals. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And I hope I'm wrong because I want to see the Capitals win. But I feel like the book is trying to trap us into taking the Washington Capitals. So I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Penguins here, minus 128. I'm also going to take the over 6.5. I think it's a great way to go with this game. I just think the Washington Capitals are too beat up and shouldn't be a dog at home in this one. So why are they giving us plus money with them? The Vancouver Canucks and the Montreal Canadiens. I have to sprinkle on the Montreal Canadiens here on the money line. You guys know I love that plus money. The over 6.5 all day long. I'm going to look at Montreal's team total as well, over 2.5. You're paying between minus 140 and minus 150. Shop those lines. Again, if you can get it at minus 140, over 2.5, definitely think they get 3 goals in this game tonight. I think it's actually the strongest play here. I think the over 6.5 is a great way to go as well. Demko under 28.5 save shots on goal, just because I think Montreal isn't going to be able to get enough shots on him to count tonight. Quality over quantity in this one. And Nick Suzuki, I would sprinkle on him for that anytime goal at plus 205. So I'll just recap the parlay at the end. And then you guys, it's one of those days. It's Wednesday. The Minnesota Wild and the Anaheim Ducks, you guys. I think the Wild get this. I'd take the Minnesota Wild in regulation in that 60 minutes. I love their team total over 3.5 after being shut out last night by the Kings. I think they come out strong offensively. Get over that 3.5 at plus 104. I think it's the most solid way to go. And the over 6.5. So let's do a quick recap. For my Money line parlay. If we want to throw together a money line parlay, these are the teams that I would throw into it. The Canes, the Canadiens, the Penguins, and the Wild. If you guys don't trust in the Canadiens, throw them out. But the money line parlay for the Canes, Canadiens, Penguins, and Wild, $10 played 137.44 on my book. And then my best bets would be the Canes on the money line, the Penguins and the Washington Capitals over 6.5, the Montreal Canadiens over 2.5, and the Wild on the money line. So you guys, or I like them in regulation, but if you parlay those together, $10 pays 85.07. So it's not a huge payout. It's just a little bit, but you guys know these parlays are for fun. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Let's make some freaking money on the ice tonight. Mike, I hate to see that. Looks like Kane is out for 3 to 4 months. That is an absolutely huge loss for the Edmonton Oilers, but thank God that he will actually be returning to the ice, because I was worried that his tendons might not allow him to return after that. So not good. Gil, I like where you are going here. Canes in the first period, Montreal and Vancouver first period over 1.5, and the Wild and the Ducks first period over 1.5 plus 630. Guys, if you want to tail that parlay by Gil here, I think it's freaking hot. That plus money, Gil, you know what? You convinced me. I'm going to go put that one in. That plus money is screaming. Big shout out to Dave for being here as well. Mike, I'm glad you agree with the Wild in 60. It's going to be a good one, you guys. Again, I lean to all of these games over. If you want to be like Daryl and parlay all of those games over, I am not opposed to it either. But you guys, thanks for joining me here on Pocket with Joe. I cannot believe how many of you watched the show yesterday. I'll get all of those bookmarks in. Struggling to talk today. More coffee is needed. You guys, thanks for joining me here on Pocket with Joe. I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully we can celebrate winning one of these parlays, or at least having a nice positive day on the ice. All the best in all of your bets. Keep smiling. Make sure you check the links below for everything that's going on. Have a great day, guys.